Tell us if you've heard any of these before. I'm not ready to put myself out there yet.
I don't want to seem like I'm bragging.
Who am I to be talking about this?
My work should speak for itself.
Be seen, not heard.
Don't inconvenience people.
Stay in your lane.
Don't get too big for your boots.
Good girls don't make a fuss.
I'll start showing up more once I've got more to show.
But I don't have an interesting story to tell.
Nobody wants to hear about me. They just want the goods.
I do not want to be an influencer. Any of these sounding familiar?
Some of these were taught to us at the dinner table, some we absorbed in the playground, and some we're still hearing in our own heads on a Tuesday morning when we're about to hit publish.
And every single one of them is just a story. It's not a fact.
And actually, they're killing your personal brand.
Because while you're waiting to feel ready, someone with half your experience is out there telling their story with full confidence.
And getting the clients, and getting the speaking gigs, and the opportunities that should be yours, lady. And if you're with us here on Resilient Entrepreneurs on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, this show is for women who are done with being humble and ready to be heard. And the way we do that is by developing your personal brand.
Our personal brand is something that we are obsessed about, and we are obsessed about having women help raise theirs so that they can get stronger, they can be more outgoing, they can get their message and their mission out into the world. It's really important.
And storytelling is the second part of the 6S personal branding framework or system that you and I created just from spending hours and really years working with clients on their marketing and ultimately on their personal brand. The second S sits right after strategy for a reason.
Yeah, it sure does. Strategy is defining your purpose, right? It's your deeper why and understanding that. So storytelling is then taking that strategy and sharing your story with others. So telling people why you do what you do, what your origin story is. Why did you create this business? Who are you? Why is your mission important? And the reason that storytelling is so important is because humans learn through stories. Through millennia, we have learned through stories. That's how we have shared our history. It's how we have shared our ancestry. It's how we have shared the lessons and the morals and all the things that we have learned has been through stories. Our parents start by telling us stories as babies and infants and young children, and those stories stick with us as memories, as lessons, as learning. And why is it important? Why is sharing your story important?
And I love that stories help us learn and they help us remember. When you're building a personal brand, it's all about becoming more memorable. So you are top of mind when somebody needs the service that you offer. Or you're so memorable that someone wants to share their experience they had with you, or some one little nugget of wisdom you shared with them because you're an expert in your area. And they shared it with somebody that they know who just so happens to need what you have, what you serve people with. And this is how referrals become, repeat business. Being memorable is key to developing your personal brand. And as we get more into talking about personal branding generally, and as you work with us more, and if you're watching this and you haven't heard us talk about this too much, then welcome, because we've been talking about it for a while, and we will continue to do so. And one of the key things about personal branding is that it's not performative. We're not going to show you how to do something because it's the right thing to do. No, we're going to talk about who do you need to be? Who are you already? What stories are living inside of you from your own experience, from the reason you got into business in the first place? Why do you do what you do? Those are the stories we want to share because those are the ones that get retold by people when you don't even notice, quite often while you're sleeping.
And isn't that perfect? I mean, isn't that what we want our marketing to do for us? Right? Because personal branding is just personal marketing. It's really the same thing. But you already have a brand. You do, no matter what. Even if you've never posted a video, even if you've never don't even have a LinkedIn profile, you still have a personal brand. It's who you are walking around every day and how people perceive you through their perception of you. So if you already have one, then what can you do to make it more memorable? Right? You can share some stories. And the most beautiful way to share them is in vulnerable ways and authentic ways, what makes us human, what makes us relatable, right? And it's often those embarrassing moments or those funny anecdotes or that, crazy experience or that, something deep and personal, or those are the things that people remember the most. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about magnetic marketing. That's the engine you need to build for yourself. When you can build that magnetic marketing engine for yourself, you both attract the right people to you, which are clients, future teammates, perhaps collaborators, partners, whatever it is you're looking for your business. You want to attract the right people in because the right people make all the impact for your business because they help you create more along your mission, right? So when you can share those bits about yourself that's real, that's human, that's vulnerable, AI can't replace that. And that's what we want more of. I see it over and over and more that people want more humanness, more mistakes, more imperfections, more natural, more authentic, less polished, less all of that, and just more real. So that's the good news. You can show up and be real. And yeah, you're going to repel some people because magnets do both, right? They attract and repel. And that's a good thing because those that are not for you, you don't want to attract them. You want to push them away so that the ones who are for you come in and go, this is me, I'm connected, I want to follow, I want to be part of Laura and Vicki's mission because I also want to close the gender gap and I also want to build my personal brand because I have something to say. Whatever it is for you in that same way, that's what your personal brand, that's what sharing those stories, that's what creating all of this intentionally can actually do. Yeah.
Yes.
But we limit ourselves, right, Vicki? We limit ourselves. And you see it all the time. You're an entrepreneur coach. You talk to women all the time. You understand there are so many limiting beliefs that actually make this difficult for a lot of people. So, what is that common story that you keep hearing women telling themselves that are actually holding them and their brand back?
Oh, yeah. See it all the time. We named a few of them at the start of this show, and there are hundreds more out there that we just didn't include. I'm not an expert yet is a very common one. We feel like we need to be able to prove ourselves. We need to be, look, I'm my number one question back to somebody who says, "Well, I'm not really an expert in the field," is how do you define expert? What is your measure? Or I'm not ready. Okay, so when will you be ready? What does it look like? What will be in place that's not in place now? Because that's a legitimate question, and maybe that's something you can work towards, and then one day you'll know when you're ready because you've been able to measure it. But of course, when we have that conversation, we soon find out that we're actually ready, right? Not ready is a convenient excuse. Okay, I said it. I said it out loud. That's really what it is. It's a safe problem. And the risky problem is doing the thing and maybe it not going the way you planned. Or maybe it going so well that now you have a fear of success. There's all kinds of reasons that we hold ourselves back. And for each person, it's different. So there's no blanket statement. There's no absolute path, 1, 2, 3. Follow this and you'll get the results. But the one thing that we need to do is tap into our truth and to be vulnerable enough with ourselves to be wrong about something. Because beliefs,
Ooh.
yeah, that's a biggie, right? It feels hard to admit to ourselves that maybe we've been wrong all this time about something. And that thing that we're going to be wrong about is usually a belief that we've held to so firmly because that served us until now. But the thinking that gets us here isn't the thinking that's going to get us where we want to be. We need to change our thinking to get to the next post. Right? The way we've thought up until now got us here. Fantastic. But how is that same thinking going to get us where we want to be?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the mindset shift that's so hard because staying in safety, we are hardwired for that. We are hardwired to want to stay safe. So it takes some pushing out of that safe little comfort zone to do the things that are hard and vulnerable and scary, all the things. But that is when actual change happens. And that's when actual growth happens. And if you want growth, if you have ambition and you want growth and you have a mission and you have a purpose and there's something you need to achieve, then this is necessary action to take. But the good news is you don't have to be great at it. You can really suck at it. And I want people to know that because I think it's so important. Like, you can be completely cringe. You can be terrible. You can fall apart. Your tech could go sideways. Does that really matter? That's going to be a funny story you're going to tell one day as part of your own brand, right? We could talk about how when we started with a radio show that we think like nobody listened to, and it was totally fine. But we got a lot of practice talking and recording and learning how this all works so that we could get into podcasting. And then we learned so much by getting into it. There was this whole new world. It was like the curtain opened up and there was a whole stage behind that we didn't even know existed. We didn't know that there were podcast agents that would start pitching us every week, different people to come on our podcast. We had no idea that was a thing. We thought we had to go out and find all the guests on our show. And before you know it, we had like a bombardment of people wanting to be on. And it was wild to us. But if we had never taken those first steps, that imperfect action, those cringe moments and moments of when I was talking to a guest and I'd blank out on the question, like, thank God for editing back then, and here we are now at a stage where we can go live and yap about things that matter to us. It's because we practice this. So don't look at anybody on a stage and go, oh God, they're so good, I could never do that. I'm nowhere near as polished as they are. No one was good on the stage the first time they got on the stage. So what's stopping you from your first time, right? What story are you telling yourself that's holding you back from doing that?
Yes, I'm into that. And I'd love to go back to something you talked about regarding the comfort zone. Because recently I've stopped calling it the comfort zone. Think about this, ladies. When you're in the comfort zone so much and you're looking out to let's call it the growth zone, that place that doesn't feel comfortable, and there's something you want, you're being called to do, it's something that's been bouncing around in your head, or you've been talking about it with your friends and your family for goodness knows how long, and you're still not taking the steps towards it. You're not actually walking your talk. How comfortable is that? Are you really in the comfort zone? I'm going to call it the familiar zone.
Yeah.
Because that's where things feel familiar. But the familiar is actually quite uncomfortable when you look at it honestly. And so the place we want to play in is the growth zone. And that's where the edge of the familiar zone. And we get to expand the familiar zone, right? So something's not hard, it's unfamiliar. I mean, fair enough. If something's new, it's unfamiliar, it's going to feel pretty hard because you haven't done it before. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. It's like you're learning and you're finding courage and you're trying something new and you're feeling a bit uncomfortable and you're wondering what could go wrong and what could go right and who else is listening and watching and praying for you. Yeah, it can be unfamiliar, but it's not hard. It's unfamiliar.
I love that reframe. It's an important reframe. And it makes me think of, fussy children, right? When you try to feed a fussy child and they will only eat a handful of foods and you're stuck in a chicken nugget cycle. As a parent, it'll make you crazy, right? But why children are fussy is because they're going to choose what's safe. And by choosing what's familiar, they've already tasted it, they tried it, they know it's safe, they know they like it, they don't want to try anything else, right? This is a cycle that a lot of parents find themselves in, and it's frustrating. But most don't give up, and most keep introducing the new, one at a time, one little thing at a time. Keep introducing the new, and then as the kids get more familiar, they choose new things, and maybe they get braver and try to keep choosing new things. It's the same in business, right? It's just you don't give up, and you don't stop and stay stuck in that same cycle forever. Because imagine as an adult never tasting a delicious curry or, you know what I mean, that perfect pasta, like whatever it is that you love. Like imagine if you never tried that, you never experienced that. Like what a sad, bland world we would live in. It's just familiarity versus unfamiliarity, trying something new. And maybe it's for you and maybe it's not, but if you never try it, then how are you ever going to know? And an interesting thing I learned literally like a couple of weeks ago was that being on a stage is actually a little bit addicting. Like, and I never thought that if you asked me 10 years ago if I ever wanted to be on a stage, I would have laughed you out of the room. Like, absolutely not. Never. Public speaking, not my thing. Want no part of it. And I've had a couple of opportunities recently to step up on a stage, and I kind of am like, oh, there's something about that energy that I never knew existed. But I went from unfamiliar, never done it before, to all of a sudden familiar. Okay, wow, maybe it's something I want to do more of.
Love that for you. I love that for you. And isn't it interesting how when we do the one thing that we thought we might never do, so many other things change as well. That courage that you had to do that, or that sense of excitement that comes now for you from doing that, I guarantee there's a sense of excitement that comes with other things in life that you previously felt were a bit scary. And that same wiring, that same pattern of your nervous system kicks in. Instead of feeling scared and resisting, there's a feeling of excitement that comes up. Start to notice that the next time you do something that's unfamiliar, and notice what your body's doing. Because when we change it in one aspect of our life, it's changed in our life for everything that's even slightly related. It's phenomenal how it works. This is why we
Yeah,
say that
because
being in business for yourself is the greatest personal development journey you can be on. Because there you are, wherever you go, there you are. You see so much
yeah,
of yourself and you learn so much about yourself. And so, talking about the stories and the stories that we tell ourselves, what story are you telling yourself? We're going to talk about speaking in a few more episodes down the road because that is another one of the 6S's in our success system. And as it relates to stories, so there's the stories you tell yourself, and it could have been that's too hard, no way, thank you very much, I'm never doing that, right? How can you, what story would you love to tell yourself about the very same thing? What story would you love to have leading your life? What do you want to fuel your engine with? Because we get to choose our stories. Just like we get to choose the story we share with others. So if someone says, why did you get into the business that you started? Do you have a response that you're really happy with? Do you feel great sharing that story? Do you want to tell it to anybody who'll listen? Well, if your answer to that isn't yes yet, then I would love to see you in the Re Women Founders Circle, because that's what we do in our community. We shape those stories. We get you to be specific. We create the time and space. We prompt you with all the questions and insights and meditations and whatever it takes for you to find the stories that you're really proud of, the stories you want to share, and the stories that make you memorable.
exactly right. When we work with some incredible women founders who are on that journey because they understand that building a personal brand is so important in this day and age, especially now, to be able to have a brand that you're proud of, that's reflective of the mission that you are on, because you're out there to create impact. You know, we are building intentionally. Leadership takes that bravery, that stepping into the unfamiliar we were talking about, but you don't have to do it alone. Right? Because it's one thing to listen to this and go, okay, check. I know I need to work on this, check. Okay, I'm going to, start thinking about my story, check. But it's a whole nother thing to try to do that on your own, because 10,000 other things are going to come up that are going to take your, time and attention away. And those are going to be the things that are familiar and easier and maybe feel more demanding. So guess what? You're going to focus on them because we know that. Like we know. I do this all the time. I am speaking from absolute experience here. But when you create intentional spaces and you find communities of people that are on that same path with you, then you will take the time, you'll set that aside to actually work on this stuff. And it is as important to work on your business as it is to work in your business. Because if you are leading anything, whether you are the CEO of a huge company with a massive team or you are a solo entrepreneur figuring this world out, there are spaces where you can get the support that you need. And we want that for everybody. It is so important to find that. So if you're interested, we host a masterclass every month. It is free. Come join us on Zoom from wherever you are in the world. It is completely open. And we talk about these topics every single month. We go in depth. We have collaborations. We will come off mute and have chats with us. We want to know who you are and what you're working on and what your mission is, and then see if we can support you to further that and to take it to the next step in any way possible. But we want to share this. We want more people to be building more intentional, beautiful brands, and we want more women out there speaking and sharing and doing the things that they need to do so that we can build a better world for everyone and finally close that gender gap. So thanks for joining us.
Hear, hear. Until next time, be heard, not humble.